Welcome to episode 398 of AI Brief.
It's great to be here.
So today we're looking at something of a split-screen reality in the world of AI.
It really feels that way.
On one side, you have the technology itself just accelerating at this incredible pace. We're going to talk about what Anthropic's doing with Microsoft.
And it genuinely feels like we're living in the future when you see these updates.
But then on the other side of that screen, we've got this new Gallup report that paints a completely different picture of the workforce.
A very different picture. It suggests that for a huge number of people, this AI revolution we cover every day just isn't happening.
Exactly. It's this two-speed world that's emerging. You've got the tech sprinting ahead.
And then a massive part of the workforce is just standing still, maybe wondering what all the fuss is about.
So that's our plan for today. We're going to unpack that tension. We'll start with the headline news. Anthropic expanding Claude right into Microsoft Excel.
And we really need to dig into why that's not just another chatbot plugin. It's a fundamental shift.
Then we're going to dive into that Gallup report and figure out why. Why is adoption stalling for basically half the country?
And after that, we'll hit a lightning round of other big updates, from vibe coding to superintelligence.
Before wrapping up with the trending tools you should know about?
Let's get into it.
All right, let's start with a tool that, it basically runs the global economy. Microsoft Excel.
For better or for worse, yes. If you work in an office, you live there.
And the huge update is that Anthropic has finally expanded access to Claude for Excel.
Right, so this has been in a pretty limited beta until now.
Yeah, it was locked away for the high-tier Max and Enterprise plans.
But now it's available to pro-tier customers.
Which opens it up to a whole different group of people.
A huge group. Freelancers, consultants, small businesses. Basically, the power users who aren't in a giant corporation.
But I want to be really clear about what this thing is, because we've heard AI in Excel before. Microsoft has its own Copilot.
Sure.
What makes this Claude integration different?
It really comes down to workflow and, I think more importantly, memory.
Okay, what do you mean by memory?
Well, think about how most people use an LLM for data right now. You copy a table from Excel.
You paste it into the chat window and you hope for the best.
You hope for the best, and you pray it fits. You immediately run up against the context limit.
The AI's short-term memory.
Exactly. If your data set is too big, the model literally forgets the first row by the time it gets to the last one. Or it hallucinates because it can't actually see the grid structure properly.
It's like trying to memorize an entire phone book in one go versus just having the book open on your desk.
That is the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
So what Anthropic has done is build this behind-the-scenes memory management system specifically for this kind of data.
So it's not just a chat window?
No, the assistant is in a sidebar, but it lets you pull in multiple spreadsheets at the same time.
See, that multi-sheet capability, that's the killer feature for me.
It has to be. Because real analysis is almost never in just one file.
Right.
It's always compare Q4 sales to our 2025 projections in the inventory list.
Right.
With this, you don't have to merge all those files by hand anymore. You just tell Claude, look at these 3 sheets and find the gaps.
And what about the people, and you know who you are, who are terrified of an AI messing up their perfectly formatted pivot tables?
That's a legitimate fear. It was a huge barrier.
So have they addressed that?
They have. They added very specific safeguards so that Claude preserves the existing cell contents. It's designed not to accidentally overwrite your work.
So it's more like a suggestion engine than an automatic editor.
Think of it as an analyst that suggests changes, not a bull in a china shop.
Yes.
It really does feel like 2026 is becoming the year of getting, as they say, Claude-pilled.
I keep hearing that phrase, Claude-pilled.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
But it points to something real. We saw it with Claude Code, with Cowork, and now this.
The barrier to entry for some really complex knowledge work is just vanishing. Yeah. Think about it. For decades, the smart person in the office was the one who knew VLOOKUP or index match or how to write macros.
That knowledge was currency. It was literally job security.
Exactly. And now the syntax is becoming irrelevant. You don't need to know how to write the formula. You just need to know what question to ask.
I agree, but I'd add a little nuance there. It democratizes the analysis, for sure. But it shifts the critical skill. You don't have to be a syntax wizard. But you do have to be a logic wizard. You have to understand the structure of the problem you're trying to solve.
So the Excel wizard isn't going away, they're just evolving.
They become the AI auditor. They're the one who directs the AI and crucially verifies that the output makes sense. If you don't get the math at all, you're flying blind.
That's a perfect transition, actually, because while we're here geeking out over multi-sheet memory management,
It turns out half the country has no idea what we're even talking about.
which brings us to this new Gallup report, their AI in the workplace data for Q4 2025, and it's a real reality check.
It is. The headline number is just staggering.
Nearly half of all American workers say they never use AI tools.
Never. Not once.
Yeah.
In late 2025. That's genuinely surprising when you're in this bubble.
And the data shows this weird plateau. The number of people trying it for the first time has stalled out.
But, and this is key, the people who do use it are using it more and more.
It's that two-speed workforce again. The gap is getting wider.
It really is. Frequent users are deepening the habit, finding new use cases. Non-users have just tuned it out. They're not even curious anymore.
Okay, so let's break down who's actually using it. I'm guessing the tech sector is pulling that average way up.
Way up. Tech workers are at 60% frequent use.
Wow.
Followed by finance, education, professional services. Basically, if your job is moving text and numbers around on a screen, you're probably in.
And the laggards?
Retail and manufacturing, which, it makes sense. These are physical jobs.
Right. You can't ask ChatGPT to stock a shelf.
Not yet, anyway. And the report points to this huge divide between remote work and in-person work.
How big is the divide?
It's stark. Remote-capable jobs are at 66% adoption. Physical presence jobs, 32%.
Okay, that's a big gap.
But the most dangerous gap, and I think that's the right word, is the management gap.
Explain that. What's the management gap?
Leaders and managers are using AI at a rate of 69%.
Okay.
But their own individual team members, only 40%.
That is a massive disconnect.
It creates a huge misalignment of expectations.
Yeah.
Your boss is using AI to summarize meetings, draft plans, speed through their day. They're thinking, wow, this is amazing. Everything's faster.
And they expect their team to have that same velocity.
But the team isn't using the tools. And here's the kicker. Gallup asked the non-users why they aren't using it.
And it wasn't fear of robots taking their jobs?
Nope. It wasn't ethical concerns either. The number one reason was lack of clear utility.
They just don't see the point.
They don't see how it helps them do their actual job today, which is maybe a failure of imagination or maybe a failure of training.
Or a failure of the tools to be where the work actually happens. Which brings us back to something like the Excel integration.
That's the connection. Most people don't live in a chat window. They live in their apps. As AI moves inside those apps, that utility gap might finally start to close.
But the implication for right now is pretty serious. If you're listening to this and you work in one of those lagging sectors,
You have a colossal competitive advantage if you figure this out.
right.
The gap between adopters and non-adopters is widening. If you're an early adopter in a slow sector, you're going to run circles around your peers.
It's first mover advantage for your own career.
Precisely.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. We've covered the here and now. I want to look out towards the horizon. We've got an everything else segment that's just, it's packed. And I want to slow down a little here because some of the stuff is pretty heavy.
Let's do it.
First up, a new player called Recursive. And they are not making a quiet entrance.
No, not at all. This is the new lab from Richard Sachar.
And for anyone who doesn't know that name,
He's a true heavyweight. Founder of MetaMind, founder of You.com, has something like 180,000 academic citations.
so not a newcomer. And he's raising funds at what valuation?
He's in talks to raise at a $4 billion valuation.
$4 billion, right out of the gate.
I think it just speaks to the sheer ambition of the goal here. They're not trying to build another chatbot.
So what are they trying to build?
The goal is self-improving, super-intelligent AI.
Self-improving. That's the key phrase, isn't it? That's the holy grail.
It is. It's that recursive loop. If an AI can write code better than a human, and you tell it to rewrite its own code,
It gets smarter, which makes it better at coding, which makes it even smarter.
and you get an intelligence explosion, that's the theory. And investors are betting $4 billion that Socher might be the one to crack it.
So while he's off trying to build a super brain, there's another startup taking let's say, a very different approach. A company called Anything.
Right. And they're hiring for a job title I'd never seen before this week.
Vibe coders.
Vibe coders. I have to admit, I kind of love it.
It sounds like a joke, but the money is very real.
Very real. This company hit $2 million in annual recurring revenue and a $100 million valuation 2 weeks after they launched.
2 weeks! That's just wild. So what on earth is a vibe coder?
They're explicitly looking for non-technical people. people who don't know Python or C++.
Okay.
But they want people who are good at using chatbots to generate code just by describing the vibe, the flow, the feel, the functionality you want.
So it's coding by intent, not by syntax.
Exactly. It's more validation for that whole Claude and Excel idea we started with. The skill is shifting from knowing the syntax to being able to clearly describe the problem.
And now that skill is actually being hired for. That's amazing. We're seeing this theme everywhere. KREA just introduced real-time edit.
Right. For images, you can edit an image just using text prompts and see the changes happen in real time. Again, it's lowering that technical barrier. You don't need to know Photoshop.
And for the people who still do write code, the AI editor Cursor just rolled out version 2.4.
This one is pretty significant because of a feature they're calling subagents.
How does that work?
So instead of the AI trying to tackle a whole coding task at once, it breaks the job into smaller work streams. It's like having a little team.
One agent for the database, one for the user interface.
Exactly. It's turning the code editor into more of a command center for AI agents.
The job becomes management, even for coders.
It's all becoming management.
Okay, we also have some new benchmarks. Epoch AI reported that OpenAI's GPT 5.2 Pro just set a new record.
Yeah, on the Frontier Math benchmark.
It hit 31%. Now, to most people, 31% sounds like a failing grade. Why is that a big deal?
Context is everything. Frontier Math is notoriously hard. These are problems that have never been seen online, so the AI can't just find the answer in its training data.
So it can't cheat.
It can't cheat. And the previous high score was about half that. So doubling the score on a test like this suggests a real leap in reasoning ability, not just memorization.
We're also seeing some interesting global moves. Sakana AI, the Japanese lab.
Right. They just secured a partnership and a big investment from Google.
What's the strategy there?
It's a smart play. Japan has very strict, very specific regulations for AI. Sakana is a local lab that knows that landscape. So by investing, Google gets a foothold to deploy its models into Japan's regulated industries through a trusted partner.
And lastly, on the news front, Sam Altman dropped a hint about cybersecurity.
He did. He said OpenAI will have new codex launches this week, and he stated the models will soon reach the highest cybersecurity capability level.
Which sounds good for defense, but also a little scary.
It definitely cuts both ways. It implies these models can understand system vulnerabilities at a level that rivals the best human security researchers. That's a huge capability leap.
Wow. It is a busy week. The tech is moving so fast it feels like trying to drink from a fire hose.
It really does.
So we want to make this practical. We've covered the big shifts, the billion-dollar valuations. Now let's just do a quick rundown of the tools that are actually trending right now.
Okay, let's run through them.
First, obviously, has to be Claude and Excel.
The use case is clear.
Yeah.
Create and edit your spreadsheets with AI. If you work with data at all, just go try it.
Next up, Qwen 3 TTS.
That's Alibaba's family of open-source text-to-speech models. They're getting the state-of-the-art tag for a reason. Open-source voice generation is getting shockingly good.
Then there's Slackbot.
It's Slack's personal AI agent for your work tasks. It's about putting the AI where the conversations are already happening, which is smart, good for summaries.
For the creative types, Movart.
Yeah, this one is aimed at creating viral videos and high-converting images with AI. Very popular with marketers who just need to generate content quickly.
And also Lade.
Similar space, but Lade is focused on turning existing content into professional, multilingual, interactive videos. Great for localizing content fast.
I'm seeing Fimo pop up a lot too.
Fimo is interesting. It generates a website for you instantly, and then it's built for team collaboration to keep it updated. It's sort of like web design on autopilot.
And finally, Data Stripes.
This one's really cool. It turns your data into visual stories and even short podcasts in just a few seconds. A totally different way to present information.
So that wraps up the tools and the news. It's a lot. We have a world where tools are becoming self-improving agents.
And yet half the workforce still hasn't even logged in.
And that really is the big takeaway, isn't it? The gap between the people who adopt this stuff and the people who don't is growing every single day.
The tools are here. Claude and Excel, vibe coding, all these agents. But they only work if you actually turn them on.
The train is absolutely leaving the station. The only question is, are you on it?
Or maybe, are you driving it?
If you got something out of this briefing, please follow and share the podcast. It really does help us keep you updated.
Yeah, definitely share it with a friend who needs to get up to speed.
See you in the next episode.